America, a land of vast landscapes and vibrant cities, a nation built on the ideals of freedom, opportunity, and self-government. But it's also a story of struggle, of overcoming adversity, and of constant evolution. From the arrival of the first Europeans to the modern day, America has been a melting pot of cultures, a crucible of ideas, and a beacon of hope for many. This journey has been marked by both triumphs and tragedies, moments of unity and periods of deep division. Through it all, the American spirit has endured, a spirit of innovation, resilience, and a belief in the power of progress. This is the story of America, a journey through its history, from its colonial beginnings to its place as a global superpower. It's a story that continues to unfold, a story that belongs to all of us. As we look to the future, we carry forward the lessons of our past, ever striving to build a more perfect union. Our journey begins in the 16th century. European powers, eager for new lands and riches, set their sights on the vast continent of North America. In 1565, Spain established St. Augustine in Florida, the first permanent European settlement in what would become the United States. Over the next century, 13 British colonies took root along the Atlantic coast. These colonies, with their diverse populations and economies, formed the foundation of a new nation. Life in colonial America was harsh, but it fostered a spirit of independence and self-reliance. As the colonies grew, so did tensions with Great Britain. Restrictive trade policies and taxes imposed by the British Crown fueled resentment. The colonists, yearning for self-government, raised the cry, "No taxation without representation." This discontent culminated in the Revolutionary War, a fight for liberty that would forever alter the course of history. The Declaration of Independence in 1776 marked the birth of a new nation, the United States of America. The American Revolution gave birth to a new nation, founded on the radical idea that all men are created equal. The Constitution, a masterpiece of political compromise, established a system of government based on the principles of democracy, individual liberty, and the rule of law. The Bill of Rights, added soon after, guaranteed fundamental freedoms such as speech, religion, and assembly. The young nation embarked on a period of westward expansion, driven by the belief in manifest destiny, the idea that America had a divine right to expand its territory from coast to coast. This expansion brought about both progress and conflict, as Native American tribes were displaced and the issue of slavery became increasingly contentious. Meanwhile, the Industrial Revolution began to transform the American economy, leading to rapid urbanization and technological advancements that would shape the nation's future. The issue of slavery, a moral stain on the nation's soul, ultimately tore the country apart. In 1861, 11 southern states, determined to preserve their way of life, seceded from the Union, sparking the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln, a man of unwavering conviction, led the Union through its darkest hour. His Emancipation Proclamation, issued in 1863, declared the freedom of slaves in Confederate territories, transforming the war into a fight for human liberation. The Civil War was a brutal and bloody conflict, costing the lives of over 600,000 Americans. The Union's victory preserved the nation and abolished slavery, but the legacy of this divisive chapter would continue to cast a long shadow. The scars of the Civil War and the struggle for equality would shape the nation's future, leaving an indelible mark on American history. The long road to equality, Reconstruction, and the rise of industry from 1865 to 1889. Following the Civil War, the nation embarked on the difficult task of Reconstruction, attempting to rebuild the South and integrate formerly enslaved people into society. Despite some progress, these efforts were often met with resistance. Jim Crow laws emerged, enforcing segregation and discrimination against African Americans. Meanwhile, the North experienced an unprecedented period of industrial growth. Factories and railroads sprang up, transforming the economic landscape. This industrial revolution brought about new opportunities, but also created a widening gap between the rich and the poor, fueling labor movements and social unrest. labor unions began to form, advocating for workers' rights and better conditions, marking the beginning of a new era in American labor history. Progress and its discontents. The Progressive Era, 1890 to 1930. The turn of the 20th century witnessed the rise of the Progressive Era, a period marked by social and political reform. Progressives concerned about issues such as poverty, corruption, and unsafe working conditions sought to address the ills of industrialization and create a more just society. This era saw significant achievements: the passage of child labor laws, the regulation of monopolies, and the implementation of public health measures. The women's suffrage movement gained momentum, culminating in the ratification of the 19th Amendment in 1920, granting women the right to vote. Labor unions also gained strength, advocating for better wages, hours, and working conditions, leading to significant labor reforms that shaped the modern workforce. From World War to Wall Street crash, a time of upheaval, 1914 to 1940, the early 20th century was a time of global turmoil. World War I, erupting in 1914, drew the United States into the conflict. The Roaring Twenties, a decade of economic prosperity and cultural change, followed. Jazz music filled the airwaves, flapper dresses became all the rage, and a sense of optimism pervaded American society. This carefree era came to a crashing halt with the stock market crash of 1929, plunging the nation into the Great Depression. Millions lost their jobs, homes, and life savings. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal programs offered hope and relief, but the road to recovery would be long and arduous. The Dust Bowl compounded the nation's woes, devastating the agricultural heartland and displacing countless families. Despite the hardships, the American spirit of resilience and community shone through, paving the way for eventual recovery and renewal. The American Century, World War II, and the Modern Era, 1941 to present. The outbreak of World War II in 1941 once again thrust America onto the world stage. The nation's industrial might and military prowess proved decisive in defeating the Axis powers. However, the war also unleashed unimaginable horrors, culminating in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, events that ushered in the nuclear age and raised profound ethical questions. The post-war era saw America emerge as a global superpower, locked in a Cold War rivalry with the Soviet Union. At home, the civil rights movement, led by inspiring figures like Martin Luther King Jr., challenged racial segregation and discrimination. The nation witnessed remarkable technological advancements, from the space race to the digital revolution. Today, America continues to evolve, embracing diversity and innovation as it navigates the complexities of the modern era. Reflections on the American journey, the past, as prologue. America's journey from its colonial beginnings to the present day has been one of extraordinary transformation and resilience. It's a story of progress and setbacks, of triumphs and tragedies, of constant striving to live up to its founding ideals. Understanding this history is essential to navigating the challenges of the 21st century. As we face issues such as climate change, economic inequality, and political polarization, we can draw inspiration from the struggles and triumphs of those who came before us. The American story is far from over. It's a story that continues to be written every day by each and every one of us. What will your chapter be? The past is our prologue, guiding us as we write the future.